Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I will be repotting all of these anthuriums that I'm currently surrounded by. I had actually just finished work and went upstairs to take a look at all of my plants, and I realized they're kind of all struggling. So I think they're struggling because some of them are very root bound and others are currently in a soil mix that I think is just not working for it. I think the soil is actually too dense. So we'll be doing that, and to kind of like spice things up a little bit, I'm actually going to be doing a little chit chat with you guys with regards to Netflix, some shows that I've been watching, and my personal take on some of the shows. So if you're interested in videos like this, keep watching, and I guess I'll just get right into this video and show you some of my really struggling anthuriums. Alright, so let's start repotting this crystallinum. Now, this was actually my very first crystallinum ever. I actually got this plant as a very small plant. It was actually the size of this right here, and it grew exponentially. Like, I was really impressed with how quickly it was growing, and yeah, it just kept growing, and I kept repotting, and then I put it in this vase thinking that it wasn't going to grow that much bigger, but it kept growing and ended up giving me a lot of inflows. Now, mind you, I have been letting the inflows just kind of like do its thing and then die off, but now I'm kind of interested in actually what do you call it, pollinating. So I think I want to speed up this process of developing inflows, and I don't know, I want to try pollinating some of my plants for you guys, just so that you can see my journey on that too, I guess. So that's where I'm at, and this was in soil, like just like a regular aeroid mix, and it was in a vase, which is why there's like mica on the bottom, and you can see like all the roots on this thing. So like I mentioned earlier, and today, like I had mentioned earlier, sorry, I will be putting it in ponds, and hopefully it likes being in ponds. I just feel like it's way easier to be in ponds and soil. I don't know. I feel like it's just less messy. But yeah, so lately I've been watching a lot of Netflix, and the most recent thing that I've been watching, if you're not following me on my my Instagram, you would already know, but I was watching Love is Blind, and I've watched season 1 and season 2, so this is the 3rd season, and honestly I was like, what is happening? The characters, there were some surprises, and I think it was just the last episode. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, maybe mute me. But if you, I hope that you've watched this, because otherwise I'm really spoiling it for you. But that season finale, you know, like that just blew my mind. I couldn't believe that Zainab just disrespected Cole in like the worst way possible. Like, I know that they had their issues, and you know, she was really upset with him because of how she feels like he had disrespected her and body shamed her and all that stuff. But I just feel like there's a time and place for you to call somebody out, and that just wasn't it. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like she could have had that conversation with him privately, especially since they were like kind of already fighting like a couple nights before. So like, you couldn't just have that conversation then. I just feel like it's just not nice. And like, I also feel like, you know, mind you, like I don't know anything really about them, like we're not friends or anything, but I just feel like because in the pods, Cole had talked about how he, you know, was married before and came out of like a bad divorce or whatever, and he's really young too, right? And he went into this with an open mind and wanting to find like his true love and doing all this stuff, and everybody has their own you know, story. But I just feel like because she knew that about him, like she could have just been more kind, I guess, and letting him down. I think like also I felt bad at the fact that, like, you know, she sorry, that was tofu. She just pounced on Ritz. I feel like his family wasn't there, and that really bothered her, and she just feels like, you know, they should have been there, but they weren't. And it is what it is. But I don't know, just I think there's always two sides of the story to everything. I just feel like she could have just handled it a little bit better. It's just really sad because I feel like now Cole is going to be like traumatized and not want to have anything to do with women, and just not want to, you know, try dating again. And that was his whole thing. Like he wanted to be there to find his one, right, his wife. So pretty much done untangling this now, and safe to say it is very, very well rooted. Yeah. And I guess I could actually cut this because it has a really big chunk, but this is the one plant that has actually given me inflows year after year. So I'm not going to cut it because I do want it to give me an inflow, because currently right now this one, this hybrid, is producing an inflow. So I want them to crossbreed, because I feel like I'll have more silver veins, and like just the way that this one has grown in looks so pretty. It just looks so nice. It's like so perfect. So anyways, I'm done getting all the soil off of this. I am gonna go give this a rinse, so I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, give this a rinse, and I'll be right back. All right, so I did end up giving it a cut because the stump here was like super long. It was like from here to where my thumb is. So I did give it a cut, and I did trim back some of the roots. So hopefully that'll kind of shake it up and it'll just continue to grow for me. Now, I was actually going to upsize it into a really big vase like this, but I feel like this might be too big. I don't know. I'm just gonna try to shove it back in here, but I feel like it's going to outgrow this very quickly. I don't know. I need to think about this some more. You know what? I want it to give me an inflow, so let's just do it. Let's just give this plant some room to breathe and put it in this bigger vase. So that's what we'll be doing. All right, so over here I have my ponds, coarse perlite, and I've added some orchiata in here. So let's just pot this bad boy up. Alright, so here it is all potted up, and like I said, I had used Lechuza Ponds, coarse perlite, and orchiata. I decided to add some Leica on the bottom just because the plant itself was small, too small for this pot, so I wanted to give it some height. So I went ahead and added some Leica on the bottom, and I did sprinkle the roots with Myco, so I always use this one, and they seem to be doing fine, no complaints so far. And what else do I want to mention? Oh, so my substrates, I actually had rinsed it the day before, so they're still fairly damp, and this plant was actually watered yesterday as well. So the roots are hydrated. I recommend repotting your plants when you have actually just watered your plants and wait like a day later, because I feel like the roots aren't as fragile and you don't want to I guess like break off your roots. So let's work on this one. This one is a magnificum crossed with a crystallinum. So this leaf has just hardened off and it's so perfect, so perfect. And at one point it still had like these red veins still. I don't know, it just was so pretty. And here is the inflow. So it had actually given me an inflow. Oh, there we go. So there's the inflow, and it had actually given me an inflow like a month ago, but I had actually went away, and during that time it had already kind of like started to die off. So I missed the window period to even collect anything. So here we are now, and I swear I had watered this, and clearly it's very root bound. So kind of struggling a little bit. There we go. Oh yeah, super root bound. I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, I am now repotting, and I've only had this plant, well, I guess I've had this plant for, wow, it's been a year. I've had this plant for a year now, and I got it from a friend who self-pollinated, well, yeah, he self-pollinated his magnificum with the crystallinum, and I had no idea that it was this root bound. I feel kind of bad. And I guess this explains why the water has just kind of been like running through it and wasn't able to absorb anything. So yeah, my apologies, plant. Explains why it's also been dropping leaves too. All right, where was I? So Love is Blind. Now another couple that was of interest of mine was actually Colleen and Matt, I think that's his name. Yeah. I actually did not think that they would end up together, and quite honestly I actually thought that Colleen was just kind of doing this for like just for airtime, because when she was rejected from everybody else, like I think it was Cole, she was rejected from Cole first. It almost looked like she was just kind of like grasping at straws to find anybody that would take her. So I was really surprised that she ended up with Matt, and seeing how Matt like has this crazy temper and rage, I did not think that she would have stayed with him. Didn't think so. But also I think Matt also had mentioned that like he has trust issues because of like his divorce, because I think what had happened, I think she cheated on him with his like friend or something like that. So I don't know, he has some, they need therapy. I feel like they all need therapy, but that's like the thing with reality TV shows. I just feel like they just like, you have to be open and be willing to air out your personal life, right? And I also have to keep in mind that, you know, this is a reality show, and they know that, and we know that because we're watching it, and they had to have picked certain people with certain traits and personalities so that the show is interesting. But also I feel like, kind of like when you're doing research and you're trying to get like participants, you want to be able to screen certain people and be not like have it so biased. I feel like the majority of the guys that were there were very young. Like I think Cole was like in his 20s, and Bartiz was in his 20s, and the women were like older, like they were in their 30s. Not that there's anything wrong with it, I'm just saying that like I just feel like they weren't. Oh, is this the quorum? I have a quorum. I don't know from what. This is new, so I'm gonna just throw this in moss to see what came out of this, and I'll update you guys. This was a surprise. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, my point, I think where I was going with this was just that like when you are selecting people for study, there's like a guideline as to what it is that you're looking for, right? In order that like your results aren't biased. So I feel like in this show they had like polarizing ages. Like you had women that were like in their mid-30s and onward, and then you had these guys that were in their 20s. And the thing is I feel like women who are in their 30s, who are career driven, have a different type of standard compared to women who are in their 20s. And I'm not knocking on like the age, not at all. I'm actually like knocking on the fact that when I was in my 20s, I was still figuring it out. And I feel like, have I been blurry this whole time? Anyways, I just feel like when I was in my 20s, I didn't know, or like I knew what I wanted to do, but I was still working towards it, because I feel like you have to have like more education now in order to do the job or the career, or partake the career that you want. And I feel like when you're in your 30s, you're like established now and you know what you want to do. So I feel like that's the reason why Zainab was so mad at Cole, because he was just starting out as a realtor, and she was like, she has a career as a flight attendant, I believe. So like I just feel like, you know, when two people are, I feel like, I guess to say it like in a, for lack of better words, I think the maturity level wasn't there, because I feel like he was still figuring it out. Like he was still coming out of like that frat boy phase. And if you go on his Instagram now, like he's kind of like back into that frat boy phase. So yeah, that's just what I think. Wow, this is really root bound. And I think I'm pretty much done removing all the soil. So again, I will go off camera and rinse this bad boy out and pot this up. All right, so it's all potted up, and oh, did you catch that shimmer? Oh, I'm so in love with it. It's kind of an arm workout, to be honest. It's pretty heavy right now because I had to like shimmy it around in this substrate, and I'm kind of running low on my new mix, but I'll just have to figure something out. But anyways, this plant I want to talk about. So this is the Anthurium vita, I can't remember. I'm just gonna put a text over here for you. And this plant I was super stoked about. I saw it on, this was like an Instagram inspired plant, and I was like, oh, I need to have that in my life because of the way it shimmers, just how ginormous it was, because it never looked like this. It was actually really very long, and it was like the length of my my forearm actually. So I really wanted this plant, and I had shipped it in from out west, and it started to suffer because I didn't know that it had root rot, and I didn't cause that root rot, okay? I didn't cause it, and I'm not saying it's the fault of the seller, but I kind of am. But in any case, what had happened was, typically when I receive a plant within Canada and it's in moss or soil, whatever it may be, I don't really touch it. Like, I'll open the box, I'll let it breathe, and then I will let it be, because I want it to acclimate to its new environment, because you know it's been in a box for a little bit. Sometimes it's not like overnight, so I let it be. And root rot happens very, very quickly. So I soon realized that it was dropping its leaves, and it wasn't until I think 2 days later I was like, what's going on? I don't understand. Why are all the leaves looking like this? I had actually taken it out, and then that's when I realized that it was rotting. So that was very unfortunate, and I was really sad about it. And now I have these things that I don't even know where it starts, where it ends. I kind of want to just cut it up, because I mean, it's so leggy. I don't know, it's not bringing me joy. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Like, the thing is although there's some roots down here, it's not really doing anything for me. I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna just quit on trying to separate it, I guess, and God, just pot it up. Yeah, I'm gonna do a thing. I'm actually gonna cut it right here and then shove it in soil or moss. I haven't decided which one yet, but I think that's what I'm going to do, because technically the way that this grows, it's supposed to grow like this, kind of like a pendant, you know? It's not really doing that. I just have like a leggy thing. And these little buds here are aerial roots that will become activated and grow when given the right conditions. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, there we go. That's one plant. Let's see here. Oh, that just snapped off. Here's another one. It's like super fragile, and I don't know what's going on with it. It's just like an absolute pain. So I have all these little guys now that I didn't even know that I was going to have. Honestly, I didn't know I was going to do this. So impromptu rehab situation. So that's what we're going to do. So that's it. That's what I'm working with. Let's put this down. And what I'm gonna do now is actually just propagate them. So I'm gonna just put these guys in moss and kind of wait for the aerial roots to wake up, and then put them in soil or whatever media I decide, and we'll go from there. So I'll update you guys on how these guys look the next couple of weeks. If there's been some changes but not a lot of changes, I'll just document this on my Instagram. So if you're not following me, please give me a follow. My Instagram is leaflet.co, and yeah, you'll see more updates on this plant. So alright, so before I go ahead and switch to another plant that I will be repotting, I just wanted to show you what this looks like right now. So currently right now it is in moss, and I'm going to just take it downstairs afterwards and give it a rinse and give it some diluted HB101 just to hydrate the moss a little bit. And I think you can kind of see like the sheen that I was talking about that it can give on like the newer leaves. Sort of, kind of, maybe. But yeah, this is what I am working with now. It kind of looks like a bouquet of grass, so that's great. It's kind of disappointing, but I'm really trying to save this plant because I spent so much money on it, and you know, it is alive. There's potential, and you know, all of my other plants are growing right now, so I don't really have the space to have a really long anthurium the length of my arms. So I'm gonna try to save this, and maybe next year it'll be huge. So let's just put this over here. All right, so the next plant that I was actually going to repot is this queen. And this queen was actually gifted to me by my very good friend. And She gifted this plant to me because I had sold my queen. Like, I had a really large queen and I sold it, and then I started to have immediate regret afterwards because it was thriving. And yeah, so she gifted this to me and it was acclimating to its new home, and obviously wasn't very happy. And it started to drop its leaves. So originally it had 2 leaves, and I had every intention to repot this. However, it's starting to put off a new leaf for me right there. So I think I'm gonna let it be. I'm just gonna leave it alone because it's doing its thing. I'm not going to clip this leaf. Usually I'm very tempted to clip it, but I'm gonna let it be and let it kind of die off on its own in the tank where it's going to stay, because I want my plants to kind of acclimate to its new home. If I was really desperate, I would actually just like clip this off and give this 100% humidity, because they seem to really like that. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let it do its thing. I guess the next plant that I will be repotting is this blush. Now, during the summer, I had actually repotted this already, and I had clipped it. Now, like I said earlier in my video, I think the soil is too dense. So yeah, it's way too dense. It's not giving me any root rot, but it could be better. I lied. There's a little bit of root rot right here. So I'm gonna just take this downstairs, rinse it off, and put it in the remainder of the ponds mix that I have over there. So I shall be back. All right, so this is all potted up, and I really hope it's happier in its new home because I was kind of getting concerned and worried there. I might saran wrap this so that it increases the humidity just a touch, because I really want this to grow. This was actually one of my favorite anthuriums because this is an anthurium silver blush, and I think the struggle is happening because I had given it a chop, and you know what, it's not all that bad because this is what grew from that little chop. So look at how silver these leaves are. This is exciting to me. So I don't know, worst case scenario, this will just grow and replace this, but you can never have too many silvery anthuriums. So hopefully this one, you know, wakes up. All right, so the next plant that I will be repotting is this one right over here. This is an Anthurium crystallinum, and this was actually one of my imports. So I had actually imported this plant in from Indonesia, and every time I was importing, I would always ask her if she wants anything. So this was one of them, and I am now repotting it today because it is severely root bound. As you can see, lots of roots. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. It's just a whole lot of roots and it needs some love. So this one I will actually keep in soil, and I think the reason why this was just not retaining any water was because it was so root bound, but also she was trying to air layer this and it worked because look, there's a little baby leaf that's emerging out of somewhere else, and I have no idea where it's emerging from. So that's happening. So if I can separate them, I will, and I'm gonna leave it in soil so I can give it back to her. Because I know that like her plants were just not thriving in her care, and I'm guilty of this too. When your plants aren't doing well, it just makes you very discouraged, and it makes you not want to, you know, hold on to these plants and care for them anymore. So it's easier to just pass them off to a friend. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate this, see if I can separate it, because she did a really good job of actually air layering it. Wow. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. It's so tangled. How did you air layer this? What the heck? You guys, hold on. I gotta get up now. Okay. So usually so I have never air layered an anthurium before. She was successful, dude. Like, I don't think you can, like, look at this. Hold on, I gotta come up real close and try not to knock everything over. But here is the new leaf. Here is the piece that she air layered, and she was successful. I had my doubts. I thought this was coming off of another, like, stump somewhere. And clearly it was. I just didn't know that this was the bottom. Oh my god. I wish she was here right now. And I hope you're watching this video, because this is my actual reaction to it. Girl, you were actually able to successfully air layer this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clip it. I wonder if I can just break it off gently. Nope, I'm gonna have to find a pair of scissors and take this downstairs, and nope, I can't separate it gently. So what I'm actually going to do is shake this out and separate this for her. All right, so during my excitement, I had mentioned that this is very unique and special because she successfully air layered an anthurium, and I've never done that before. Also, my method of propagating anthuriums is to actually cut the chunk in half and then put it in soil or moss, and then just, you know, throw it in a box or like a bag to give it 100% humidity so that it could grow. And she did not do that. And I think what she did was, let's just look at this stump right here. Let's forget about this part. So I think what she did was she just put moss on top of this piece right here. So I think moss was attached to this, and it started to grow roots from up here, and then it like sprouted a different way. I think that's what happened. So I think the original stump was this, and she had put moss on top of it, and then it grew this long stem to up here. And that's how we have two chunks right now. So I am actually just gonna go off camera and send her a video and then cut it and put it back in soil for her and give it back to her for Christmas. So I'm just gonna go off camera now. Oh, all right, so just finished talking to my friend and showing her what her plants did. Well, plants now. Anyways, I digress. I had to show her what we were working with, because that to me was unheard of. I've never seen that before, so she should be very proud of herself. And I decided to pot them up in soil, and the reason for that is because that is what she's used to. She's never really worked with semi-hydro, so I'm not going to stress her out with that, and I do plan on giving this back to you, so giving them back to you. But yeah, don't have much to say on these plants right now, but I do want to go back to Netflix. I know we've come like full circle. So I did ask on my Instagram what other shows I should binge watch now, and I am open to suggestions. So please leave some suggestions down below. Some suggestions I had on Instagram was From Scratch. Don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to watch the trailer for that. Demare, can't do it. Thrillers freak me out. I'm one of those people that are like, is it done? Is it over? I still hear scary music. Like I need to have my partner there because I'm a huge chicken. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know what that is. I will have to look that up. The Superstore. Can't do it. That type of humor kills me. I can't do it. I can't. Raising Hope on Prime. I feel like I've seen that before. I feel like I have. I will watch the trailer and get back to you on that one. Ultimatum. Yes. Yes. I am such a sucker for reality shows like this, and I would talk about it, but let's see how this video does first with all the spoilers that I had talked about earlier. Dubai Bling. Yes. That's a type of show that I like to watch. That's a whole lot of drama, but it's a whole lot of rich people. I think another one that I like to watch was Empire Bling. No, Bling Empire. That was pretty good. I don't know why I'm into like these shows, but you know, it's like, it's entertaining. It's kind of mindless to me, but it's what I needed. But in any case, thank you guys so much for supporting, and if you like videos like this, please hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and just let me know. I know this is a little bit different. I am kind of out of my element because I feel like I am very chatty and you're seeing more of my personality. So still a little bit awkward, but I'm working on that. But in any case, I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.